I am a publisher, writer, editor, daughter, sister, auntie, dog mom, and many other things, including currently a cancer patient. But I am not a doctor or medical professional of any sort. What you are about to watch is an episode of my journey through cancer. I'm sharing my adventure with you in hopes that you'll find something here that's comforting and maybe even inspiring. This video is not intended to provide any sort of diagnosis or treatment plan. Please go talk with your doctor for professional medical advice.
Life these days revolves around medical appointments and taking baby steps toward recovering health. I mean, my body-brain connection is so strained that I'm having trouble stepping off a curb with grace. So my trainer and I are working on that. You thought I wasn't serious about baby steps. But all those medical appointments, I mean, for example, last week I went to the cancer center to have my port flushed, and then I went back a few days later to meet with the oncologist who is supervising my chemo treatment. And at the meeting, I mentioned that I discovered what may be a new twist in my cancer journey, or it may be something that is totally unrelated to cancer, but is only a new and original twist. We don't know yet. Here's the skinny. I have lymphedema in both legs. That's not an uncommon condition to have post-cancer treatment. And what it means in a nutshell is that the body is having a hard time circulating lymphatic fluid through the lymphatic system. And the fluid gets stuck in certain places. And because I've had pelvic radiation, that's where my fluid gets stuck. And it backs up in my lower legs so that my feet and my ankles and my shins are, get swollen and get hard. And the best way I found to deal with this is through lymphatic drainage massage. When you have cancer, a good massage therapist is your best friend. And I have a great friend in Liz Webb at Bliss Massage, for those of you who are local to my area. But I've also learned how to do lymphatic massage on myself. And I learned this from a couple of YouTubers, Bob and Brad, two adorably nerdy physical therapists. And I've linked their video that teaches you about lymphatic drainage massage for yourself in the description. In short, however, what you do for lymphedema in the leg or legs is you start by laying on your back with your legs elevated over your heart. And then you start just doing a series of really small movement exercises, wiggling your toes and pumping your feet, and then, making circles with your ankles. And then bringing in your knees so that you're flexing your hips and your knees. What else are you doing? You do a clamshell, where you put your feet together and you sort of open and close your legs. Squeeze your butt, do a bridge, rotate your trunk. Just these little motions that help get the lymphatic fluid moving. And then in order to bring the lymphatic fluid up, you want to get it to your belly area so that it drains. And in counterpoint to how you start with the exercises, which is starting with your toes and then your feet and then working up to your knees and your butt and your trunk, you've got to clear the dam that builds up around your belly area. And to do that, the first thing you do is you sort of stroke upward from your groin area, and you stroke upward over your belly, because the lymphatic fluid is right under the skin. It's really easy to massage upward. So you do that area first, and then you can do your thighs and bring your leg up and do your shins and your feet. But while I was clearing the dam and starting from my groin area and just sort of smoothing the fluid up, I noticed a lump. Now, I had noticed something was not right a couple of weeks ago, and that was basically that there was like this extra bit of fat under the fat on my left side of my stomach. And I just thought, well, that's kind of weird and asymmetrical, and it sort of bothered me, and I'll talk to the doctor about it next time I see her. But while I was doing the lymphatic drainage motion, I noticed that underneath that lump of extra fat was something hard, and it's a lump. And I thought, okay, what fresh hell is this? So when I went to the doctor last week, I brought it to her attention and laid down on the table, and she felt it, and she said, "Oh, there is something under there." I said, "What is it?" She said, "I don't know. Maybe it's a hernia. Who knows? It doesn't hurt." But the upshot is that we are doing my PET scan. We've moved the first PET scan post-treatment up from March to next week, so we can kind of get some idea of what this lump might be. And needless to say, I'm very curious about it, and I will keep you in the loop on that. Again, doesn't hurt. Don't know what it is, but it doesn't hurt. So the next medical appointment I had was with my rheumatologist. This is a new doctor added to my list of doctors that I see regularly. And this is to deal with my diagnosis of osteoporosis. Was the osteoporosis caused by the radiation that was part of my cancer treatments? Maybe, some of it. But I am a small-boned white woman, which means that I am most at risk for osteoporosis, and I definitely have a family history of it. My mother is like glass. Her bones are so weak and brittle. So I talked to my rheumatologist, and we decided what we're going to do about my osteoporosis to stop it in its tracks. And the first step we're going to take is an annual infusion of Reclast, which is a drug that is a zoledronic acid in a class of medications called bisphosphonates. And I hope I'm pronouncing all those right. And those are to help reduce the possibility of fractures in the bone. Why did we decide on this treatment? What are the side effects of this treatment? Can this treatment or other treatments reverse osteoporosis? How is my schedule of thrice weekly meetings with my trainer contributing to stopping the osteoporosis in its tracks, or maybe reversing it? Those are great questions, and they're the topics for a whole video on their own about osteoporosis. And that video is going to be for a whole new channel. That's the channel that I want to do about aging vibrantly, and that I had said that I was planning on doing a spring launch for. So I guess the big announcement that I have this week is that we have come up with a name for this channel. And I credit my niece, Bella, for this name, because we were talking about how nothing that I'm doing is an immediate, has immediate results. There is no immediate way to reverse aging, to get back your mojo. But it takes time. Everything takes time. Finding out if I'm cancer-free is going to take 5 years. Finding out if we have reversed or just stopped the osteoporosis is going to take 2 years. So given that all of this is going to take time, and I am 65, my niece suggested that we might want to call the channel Fine by 69, which means I have 4 years to get in shape. Now, does that mean that I'm going to be just fine by the time I turn 69 and there's going to be nothing wrong with me and I'm going to have reversed aging and somehow have found the fountain of youth? No, But it does mean that the steps I'm taking, I'm hoping to be as energetic as I can be at 69, and as resilient physically and mentally as one can be as one ages. So I like the idea of having that period to sort of experiment and experience all the different aspects of aging and what you can do about them to retain. And I hesitate to say youth because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to be energetic and resilient. And that needs to be given time so that those qualities can build up and you can work toward them. It's not something that happens overnight. So look for Fine by 69. Come this spring, we are working on it. So none of the steps I'm taking, or very few of them, will be big steps. They will all be baby steps in a life that is just full of encounters with medical and other health professionals. Fortunately, I've got the nicest people on my team, and I wish that you too, when you have need, can find doctors and PAs and nurses and techs as lovely as the people that I am fortunate enough to have on my team. If you want to follow a deeper dive into what I'm calling the not safe for work aspects of cancer treatment and recovery, you can follow me on Patreon. I'll put the link down in the description below. And this coming week, we are going to be talking about resuming one's sex life after cancer treatment. And, I'm still trying to figure that out. My niece, Bella, who's now here living with me, and you will get to meet her through these videos, said to me today, if men got periods, tampons would be free. And I thought about what she said, and I realized that's probably true. But I also realized that if the men who research how cancer affects one's sex life weren't mostly men and frustratingly focused on sort of heteronormal methods and ways of having sex, if they focused on not on women just being able to resume normal heteronormative sex with men, then I might get more answers to the questions that are really preying on my mind. Because there's a lot of woman-centric questions that even women doctors don't really have the answers to, because I'm assuming most of the research has to be done by men, because you got to think other women want the answers to these questions too. Anyway, I'm doing my own research as far as I'm able, and I will be talking about it in the upcoming Future Cancer Survivor Patreon post. So for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks after a few more baby steps. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Also, don't forget to call your senators and your congresspeople to demand universal health care, and most importantly, don't forget to vote.